G'day guys and welcome to Raging Rhino. So we are literally about 2 weeks away from The Mandalorian Season 3 being released on Disney+. And of course all the promotion and all the articles are starting to ramp up to try and promote this and push that out there. Now of course there is a lot of promotion and a lot of articles pushing the fact that in Book of Boba Fett, they actually came back together. This is Grogu and Din Djarin, of course. They've come back together because a lot of people, I reckon, checked out during the Book of Boba Fett, and obviously the evidence is clear when it comes to Andor and the ratings for Andor, how much people have actually checked out of Star Wars. So there's a lot of people out there that don't actually know that Grogu and Mando are actually back together after the end of Season 2. So there was one particular article that I actually wanted to go through a little bit of it with you, and that was the Empire Magazine article. So of course, like I said, they're starting to ramp up all the promotion for this. So, exclusive image. The Mandalorian Season 3 will open up the world of Mandalore and the Mandalorians. Pedro Pascal tells Empire, delicious doors are flying wide open. What a way to describe it. Delicious. Just delicious doors are flying wide open. So, we're going to go through a little bit of this article. The Mandalorian Season 3 opens up the world of Mandalore and the Mandalorians, says Pedro Pascal. Strap in everyone, The Mandalorian is blasting back into the Star Wars galaxy. Din Djarin is about to return in the long-awaited Season 3 with Grogu back at his side, following their touching reunion in the Book of Boba Fett. Now again, they're trying to push the fact that go and watch the Book of Boba Fett, at least those 2 episodes, so that you can see how Grogu ended up coming back to Din Djarin and the Mandalorians. And a fresh batch of adventures on the horizon, as Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni's epic saga barrels into a new era. Now with writer-director Rich, I'm not even going to attempt that surname, joining them as an executive producer. There's plenty to look forward to. Not only is Pedro Pascal's former bounty hunter facing the ramifications of choosing to remove his helmet, a total no-go in his branch of culture and belief system, in order to look Grogu in the eyes, but it's a journey. Now, first of all, I do want to point out, that wasn't the first time he took his helmet off. He took his helmet off in that Imperial base just so that they could scan his face so that he could gain access to the computer system, which was really fucking stupid. So that was actually the first time he removed his helmet. It's got nothing to do with Grogu, in fact. He pretty much did that because he already knew that he took his helmet off and people had already seen his face. So that's a completely stupid statement. They're just again trying to make it about Grogu and Din Djarin and all of that sort of garbage, both physical and spiritual, that will take him to Mandalore itself. It's fair to say that the scope of the new season, delving further into the Mandalorian mythology Favreau helped establish in the Clone Wars, is about to get bigger. And I just want to stop there for a second. Notice how they mentioned that it's Favreau's mythos, it's Favreau's mythology of Mandalore. It's got nothing to do with George Lucas's and of course the EU establishing Mandalorians and Mandalore the way that they did. This is Filoni's twist on Mandalorian's mythology, basically. What I love about Season 3 is how much the world opens up in terms of Mandalore and the Mandalorians. Pedro Pascal tells Empire in the world-exclusive The Mandalorian Season 3 issue. That means so many different facets of the culture, politics, and rules and discoveries. Delicious doors are flying wide open. And again, I just want to point out that is such a horrible way of describing The Mandalorian Season 3. Delicious. It's delicious doors are flying wide open. Adding complications to his quest for forgiveness. I think Grogu just being with him is a complication in his quest for forgiveness for removing his helmet twice. Mando now wields the much contested Darksaber, a hard-fought after weapon with a weighted history for the Mandalorian people and special significance for his fellow Mandalorian warrior Bo-Katan. Now, I love how they say it's got a weighted history, because this weapon now has a mind of its own. If it doesn't feel like you're using it the right way, it ends up becoming really heavy. So maybe they're just trying to make a play on words in regards to it's a weighted weapon and it's got this weighted history to it. So stupid. Introduced in live action in The Mandalorian Season 2, Bo-Katan sees actor Katie Sackhoff reprise her voice role from the animated series. And after all her years in the Star Wars galaxy, even she was surprised when she saw the territory the Season 3 script were taking them into. I was texting John and Dave, are you serious? This is an epic season. It's so big and bold and different. She promises. And for Bo-Katan, it brings big challenges. Her dynamic with Din Djarin isn't an easy one, and her tangled history doesn't hold easy options for the future. We know the family that she was born into. Now, what's the family that she's going to choose? What does that look like? Questions Sackhoff. That's the thing with Mandalorians. They always find the way. Of course, throwing in the way. This is the way. This is so gay. First of all, there's a couple of things with this. Again, it is Dave Filoni's mythology for Mandalorians. It's not George Lucas's. It's not from the EU. This is something completely different. And of course, they're just changing the story so that they can mesh it in and build it into what they've already created, including the sequel trilogy. And I don't think that that's really honoring George Lucas's work. I don't think it's really doing what Kathleen Kennedy said that she was going to do in regards to honoring the mythology and the characters moving forward when they originally bought it off George. But also, too, the way that Pedro Pascal describes it as delicious doors flying wide open, I thought that was absolutely pathetic. I think that there's a lot about this that, of course, people are going to love it. There's going to be a lot of action. There's going to be a lot of Grogu. There's going to be a lot of new elements, of course, brought into Star Wars because of this third season. And we'll really see how much it actually connects to stories that they've already written. I really don't like The Mandalorian. I don't like what they've done with Star Wars. I don't like what Disney have done with Star Wars, full stop, moving forward. It's been an absolute shit show. Now, I think that even though the ratings and everything for Andor, and of course how shit Boba Fett was and how shit Obi-Wan Kenobi was, I still think that there's going to be a fair few people that come back to watch Season 3 of The Mandalorian. But when it really comes down to the story that they're going to be telling, of course, it's based on this new mythology for Mandalorians that Dave Filoni has created. And of course, the actors are just playing that up and, of course, talking about it in the way that, you know, is going to try and get a bit of hype out there and a bit of spice out there for what's actually to come. Like Katie Sackhoff is going to sit there and say, oh no, this season, I read the script and it wasn't even really that good. She's not going to say that. She's going to be like, are you serious? This is an epic season. So big, so bold, so different. Of course she's going to say that. And of course, Pedro Pascal himself is going to say, delicious, just delicious doors are flying wide open for the Mandalorian and Mandalorians and Mandalore. I can't wait to see how the SEALs react to this season. Like I said earlier, we're 2 weeks away from essentially Season 3 starting. I still think that there's a lot of problems with Season 1 and Season 2. And if you want to check out my reviews and my videos on that, you can. They're on my channel. But I'm not looking forward to more destruction of Star Wars through this series that they've actually already done. And moving forward, there's going to be a lot more to come. So that's my thoughts on it. I just thought it was hilarious the way that Pedro Pascal was describing this as delicious doors are flying wide open. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one. Later, guys.